Tinubu will be stopped. Let me tell you, whatever, go and read history and read revolutions and so on and so forth. Everyone that have read history have come to the conclusion that power belongs to the people. What you need is a trigger. And hunger. When they fought the Civil War, Awolowo said hunger was better weapons than bullets. And it's right. I mean, he was pursuing that theory from Bernard Shaw, Arms and Demand, that hunger, food was a better weapon of war than bullets. And it's true. So the truth of the matter is that there is a united force of the Nigerian people. And that is why you find that those who are poetic in their delivery will tell you that in 2027 is Tinubu and APC against the Nigerian people. The party lines are obliterating. That is what ADC has come to represent. You are now finding Labour and PDP and the SDP all in the same bed because they are united by a common purpose. The purpose is that we have seen that this government of the day has completely pushed us to the cliff edge. And so it's an existential situation. And when you push people to an existential situation, they begin to think of survival. That is the first instinct, of nature. So the truth of the matter is that he will be dislodged. Look, let me tell you, Tinubu cannot control every single person in INEC. He cannot control the, computer room in INEC. He cannot control each polling officers in the polling unit and each returning officer in the state. He will just use his influence as president that he has by the time his regime is coming to an end. And by the time his regime is coming to an end, that influence has so depleted that there is nobody who is going to be loyal to him. If you come out now on the streets to say you want to speak against Tinubu, there's no member, APC member, if you go to their arena to speak against Tinubu, no APC member challenges you. You only have some few bigots who are getting from the money directly. Their own members, who we deal with every day, are so disillusioned with the government and disillusioned with its performance that they are ready for any party or any group of persons or person who is going to lead Nigeria out of these woods. So it is no longer a matter of Tinubu. His mystique has been totally demystified. He has not been able to deliver results in 2 years running. And so people realize that, look, there is no reason why we should put our lives on the line for this man against ourselves, against our family, against our future, against our children. People need something to die for before they will die for it. So they have no reasons. As he behaves in the federal, that's how his state governors behave in the states. Those who are original APC, I'm not talking of this later day APC governors who are decamping because they are afraid of ESCC, sword of Damocles hanging on their head, which he threatens them with. But he doesn't have their loyalty, and even if he does, in the last 2023 election, APC lost about 8 states to the opposition party. So there's no mystery there. Tinubu is living, he's a man. He's just a single man. Nigeria well, America said they are God's own country, but I tell them, they borrowed that from us. We are the God's own country. We are so resilient. We have defeated every tyranny, dictatorship, Maradona or no Maradona, smiling or no smiling president. We have defeated all in Nigeria. So Nigeria is also going to overcome this tyranny, this oppression, this manipulation, and of cooking up figures and reeling out statistics. You cannot do that to a people because governance is fed in the livelihood of the people. That is why our constitution says that the primary purpose of government is security and welfare. So you cannot tell me, look, I've taken care of you when I know I'm hungry. Words do not take care of that. These are feelings, these are responses, these are stimuli. And so you cannot tell me, look, I've taken care, Nigerians are now, economy has turned around, and I'm hungry. And for 2 years, a president have not been able to reverse hunger. The price of rice in the market, he met it at 7,000 naira. That is the APC, I mean. In 2015, rice was 7,000 naira in Nigerian markets. Today it's over 100,000 naira in many cases, and just a little less in other cases. Now, you pay 70,000 minimum wage, and the family cannot even buy a bag of rice. We are not talking of the groundnut oil, we are not talking of tomatoes, we are not talking of Maggi, we are talking of chicken, and you are not changing it. You come out as president and you use an executive fiat and you say you are going to tell them to bring down price. It's when prices, and you say you're a capitalist, and you say you understand the economics. Prices of goods are determined by market forces, demand and supply, and then cost of production. And then you say you want to use your mouth to say, bring down the price. After the man has imported a trailer of rice from Kano to Benin, then you tell him, bring down the price. And that's why it has not gone down, because there is no attempt by the government to think outside the box, to say, okay, what do we do? These are all very simple answers within the fingertips. But the government is not doing it. So people now say Tinubu is wicked. They're justified to say it. Because everyone thought that as an economist or accountant that he claims to be, he understands this simple basic economics. That you just have to do certain things if your executive order is, to sit down with the farmers and then make credit available to them and boost their production level for the year going forward until they're able to find their feet. Food surplus will be in the market. If the driver that is driving rice from Kano to Enugu is not kidnapped on the road because you have refused to address security and kept in the bush, and the goods perish in the trailer, the onion he's taking from Abuja to Enugu perishes in the trailer because he has been kidnapped and kept in the bush, and then you have refused to do anything about that. And you think by executive fiat, you are going to say they should bring down prices of things. You are deceiving yourself, and you think you are fooling us. You are not. So if government is so powerful that government does whatever it wants to do, except God says no. And God can never say no if you want to do good things. If government wants to bring down prices today, there are many models that have worked everywhere. And it still won't stop you from, having your trade balances. The opposition, if you take it as a superstructure, seem to be, disunited. But then within that disunited structure, you now have leaders who have followers, considerable number of followers inside the opposition coming together. As long as that leadership remains one, the opposition is one. It's a matter of short time, and you see all of them coalescing together. If you have Peter Obi sitting on the same table with Atiku, sitting on the same table with El-Rufai, I have just mentioned people from 3 different parties who are leaders of their parties, and not just leaders, visible, leaders who control majority, whose opinion matter in their party. Atiku from the PDP, Peter Obi from the Labour Party, and El-Rufai from APC coming together, and this is 2 years running, and they have been saying the same thing, and they have one common purpose uniting them together. They have not, despite the fact that each one have tried to assert his own influence and assert his own, political persuasion, but they say we are united in one thing, and that unity has kept them together. And that unity is to remove Tinubu in 2027 because they believe that any other alternative among them is better than what you have now. Because what you have now is actually antithetical to the Nigerian spirit. It is inimical to our growth and development. So what you are going to have is a patriotic replacement. It doesn't matter whether the person is moving slow or moving fast, but it's going to be moving, and it will be moving forward. So that strong bond, because what unites people, you must ask yourself when you're analyzing, what holds these people together? If what holds them together is stronger than what keeps them apart, then you fear that coalition. That is why you find that as soon as the coalition, announced, Wike has never rested again. He was taking slots in channels, taking slots. He was just talking and talking, and in talking and talking, he exposed himself too much, denied his father, insulted everybody in this country, and showed his hatred, and with all due respect, ill-breeding. And we of the Niger Delta are so ashamed of him that such should be the icon, as he thinks that he is, of the Niger Delta. We are well schooled, disciplined, and cultured. He has insulted chiefs. When he was governor of Rivers State, he insulted chiefs publicly on television. Now he came to the National Front, insulted Atiku, insulted this, insulted that. How can you be so disagreeable and obnoxious? Because you want power? Now, can Tinubu trust such person? So the truth of the matter is that they have pushed the opposition into a coalition. He went to PDP, the oldest party in Nigeria, the most organized party as a then in Nigeria, that had produced 3 presidents in Nigeria. He went there, he has completely destroyed that party. In the wisdom of PDP leadership, people like Atiku left to go and form a new house where he can enter. Are this progress? By any standard? In civilized countries, whatever the antagonism in ideologies between the Democrats and Republicans, for instance, both parties are functioning. You don't have any of the party in power like Republican going to try and destroy the Democratic Party. Why would you destroy the voice of opposition? Why would you want to rule instead of govern? So the truth of the matter is that the coalition is strong in principle and in one value. That value is that we love Nigeria. And having loved Nigeria, we will make any sacrifice to ensure that Nigeria is not pushed over the precipice and the cliff edge where we are standing right now. Because just show me which policy you will say, okay, give it a few years, this policy will now come to fruition and begin to produce dividend of democracy or development. Is it the policy of buying houses in Florida, which you are denying? Is it the policies where the government is wasting money? We have money and you are wasting money, you are servicing your cronies? Is it the policy where you have a legislature, a federal legislature, Senate and House of Reps, that has never said no to the president on any account, where they will sit down against their own, mandate and against their own self-worth and respect? The president will just go to Rivers State. If the president was going to declare war on behalf of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that's how the House would have approved it. Because those are very serious matters that you must have recourse to the federal legislature before you take any decision on that. State of emergency, go and read it in the Constitution. So we see no trajectory towards development. And we see no apologies from the people who are running this deplorable government.
Okay, let's look at, if the choice was yours to make, which candidate or which person or persons do you think you would throw your weight behind?
The ADC must stand together as one. And then the ADC must show us internal democracy. If they are going to have any respect from Nigerians and because within that rank, you have so many people who can do the work. But the people outside right now are not looking at the individuals wholly. They are looking at the individuals, but they are saying the only way they can prove to us that they are now qualified to take us out of the woods is that they show example by having internal democracy. And that internal democracy will be demonstrated when they do a national convention. They have to be a primary to choose who is going to be the presidential candidate. They have said this repeatedly, that they are going to give us that primary as Nigeria. So whichever of them emerges in that coalition primaries, then we know that this man can lead us. Because that coalition is a coalition of the grassroots of Nigerians.
If you have a choice, who will you support?
I would rather not choose anyone here.
But you believe in the ADC?
I believe in the ADC. I believe in the coalition. I'm a strong supporter of the coalition. I also believe that there's no alternative to the ADC right now in the political arrangement in Nigeria. The reason why there's no alternative is because this government of the day have put its tentacles on the other two major political parties, which is the PDP and the Labour Party. And the kind of tentacles he has put there is not something you can overcome, not even in this regime. So the only way to defeat such people is to be united around a common principle, a common value. And right now, ADC is that value, or what the ADC